Welcome to History Recapped, where we unpack the greatest and most defining moments in human history. Today, we're exploring the story of World War I, a global conflict that shaped the modern world and forever changed the nature of warfare. World War I was more than just trench warfare and muddy battlefields. It was a complex web of alliances, nationalism, and political miscalculations that dragged the world into one of the deadliest conflicts in history. Part 1. The Tinderbox of Europe. By the early 20th century, Europe was a continent on edge. Nationalism surged across borders, empires vied for dominance, and powerful military alliances formed in preparation for war. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy created the Triple Alliance, while Britain, France, and Russia aligned in the Triple Entente. The Balkans, particularly Serbia, became a hotspot for tension as nationalist groups sought to break free from imperial control. The Austro-Hungarian Empire viewed these movements as a direct threat. On June 28, 1914, the spark that would ignite the world occurred. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. Part 2, The Road to War. Austria-Hungary issued an ultimatum to Serbia, making harsh demands. Serbia agreed to most, but not all of the terms. Backed by Germany, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. Russia, allied with Serbia, mobilized against Austria-Hungary. Germany, honoring its alliance, declared war on Russia and quickly moved against France. Germany's invasion of Belgium brought Britain into the war. Within weeks, Europe was engulfed in a full-scale war, as nations honored their tangled web of alliances. What could have been a regional conflict spiraled into a global catastrophe. Part 3. The Western Front and Trench Warfare. Germany launched the Schlieffen Plan, aiming to quickly defeat France by sweeping through Belgium. However, the plan faltered. Belgium resisted more than expected, and the British Expeditionary Force slowed the German advance. By late 1914, both sides had dug extensive trench systems stretching from the North Sea to the Swiss border. The Western Front became a brutal stalemate. Soldiers endured horrific conditions: mud, disease, constant shelling, and deadly gas attacks. Battles like the Somme and Verdun became synonymous with the staggering human cost of the war. At Verdun, French and German forces fought for nearly a year, resulting in over 700,000 casualties. Part 4. The Eastern Front and Beyond. On the Eastern Front, Germany and Austria-Hungary battled Russian forces in vast, more mobile campaigns. The Russians suffered heavy losses, and internal strife began to fracture the Russian Empire. The Ottoman Empire joined the Central Powers, opening new fronts in the Middle East and the Dardanelles. The ill-fated Gallipoli campaign, where Allied forces attempted to secure a sea route to Russia, ended in disaster with heavy casualties. Meanwhile, Japan entered the war on the side of the Allies, seizing German territories in the Pacific, and the war spread to Africa as colonial powers clashed over overseas territories. Part 5. Technological terrors. World War I introduced unprecedented levels of technological warfare. Machine guns, barbed wire, tanks, flamethrowers, and poison gas became horrifying features of the battlefield. Airplanes, initially used for reconnaissance, were soon armed for combat, leading to the first aerial dogfights. Submarines, particularly Germany's U-boats, terrorized Allied shipping lanes, disrupting supply routes across the Atlantic. This mechanized warfare produced staggering casualties, with millions killed and even more wounded. Part 6. The War at Sea and the Lusitania. The British Royal Navy established a naval blockade against Germany, cutting off vital supplies. In response, Germany employed unrestricted submarine warfare, sinking military and civilian ships alike. One of the most controversial incidents occurred in 1915 when a German U-boat sank the British passenger liner Lusitania. killing nearly 1,200 people, including 128 Americans. The sinking outraged the United States, but didn't immediately bring the US into the war. Part 7. The collapse of Russia. By 1917, Russia was teetering on the brink of collapse. The strain of war, economic hardship, and widespread dissatisfaction led to the Russian Revolution. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated, and the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seized power. The new communist government signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany in 1918, withdrawing Russia from the war and allowing Germany to shift its forces to the Western Front. Part 8. America joins the fight. Germany's resumption of unrestricted submarine warfare and the interception of the Zimmermann telegram, in which Germany proposed a military alliance with Mexico against the United States, finally pushed the US to enter the war in April 1917. American troops, known as the Doughboys, provided much-needed reinforcements and resources. Their arrival revitalized the weary Allied forces and began tipping the balance of power. Part 9. The final offensives and armistice. In 1918, Germany launched a desperate spring offensive on the Western Front, hoping to win the war before American forces arrived in full strength. Initially successful, the offensive soon faltered due to logistical failures and stiff Allied resistance. The Allies, now reinforced by American troops, launched a series of counter-offensives known as the 100 Days Offensive. Germany's allies, Bulgaria, the Ottoman Empire, and Austria-Hungary, began to collapse. Facing military defeat, social unrest, and revolution at home, Germany sought an armistice. On November 11, 1918, at 11 a.m., the guns fell silent. World War I was over. Part 10. The Treaty of Versailles and the Aftermath. In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, officially ending the war. Germany was forced to accept full responsibility, disarm, surrender territory, and pay enormous reparations. The treaty's harsh terms left Germany humiliated and economically crippled, sowing the seeds of future conflict. New nations emerged from the collapsed empires of Europe, and the League of Nations was established in an attempt to prevent future wars. But the world would soon learn that the peace achieved was fragile. World War I forever altered the political and social landscape of the world. It was a war marked by technological horror, immense human suffering, and a profound impact on the century that followed. Thank you for watching History Recapped. If you found this episode insightful, please like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what topic you'd like us to explore next.